How's it going, guys? This is your boy Hazzed, and today in this video, I'm going to be announcing something that I am thoroughly excited for. Apparently, there's going to be some changes that's going to give us duelers some hope for the future. So, let's hurry up and jump into this video and do it.
It's who we are, it's what we do, we've come so far, and now we pay the price, so don't even cry. The world is breaking down, and I cannot leave the ground.
Alright, so if you guys want to see these notes yourself, you can check them out on Wowhead. But basically, what are we going to be looking at for World PvP is players now deal 40% damage to other players. Now, for 7.2, what is this going to mean for us? Well, as of right now, we know if you get in a duel with anybody, it's generally over, or World PvP battle, it's going to be over in seconds, like 1 to 5 seconds generally. And with bursts being so crazy, and Frost DK's survivability so low, we know as Frost DKs that dueling is something we don't really like to do. Now, if we come across somebody in World PvP and we get a jump on them and we, burst as hard as we can, we generally have the upper hand. But coming off of, 1-to-1 standing toe-to-toe, we generally don't have enough healing to really survive very long against a lot of classes. And of course, if they have bubbles or things like that, the mechanics really destroy us, as we do not have very much CC or healing capabilities. So 40% damage reduction is really going to help us in the sense of it's going to be longer duels. Death Strike will mean more. And overall, I'm really excited to see what this is going to mean, because then I'll be able to, duel on the DK again, and probably duel on the Shaman again, which I can imagine the Shaman, being that is a kind of longer survivable spec, may actually fare better in that situation. So we'll really have to see coming up for that 7.2. I might even try to test it out, but don't know if I really see people dueling out there, but now go ahead and check. Now I'm going to go over some of these other things. Now the other buffs look like they are in PvP instances, since they say it at the end of them, and aren't as big. I mean, they are pretty big. Yeah, they're pretty big actually. Yeah, they're pretty big. So let's get into these other ones. The next change coming up is going to be players now have 25% less stamina in PvP, so that's going to be 25% health. If you've got, 3 million like generally people do in PvP at the moment, I mean, you'll be losing, what, like 3 million health, something like that. Not a big deal. But it will make it so bursting is going to be more effective. I mean, smaller health pools. But this next change is going to be what kind of changes it around a little bit. Its players now have 20% more agility, intellect, and strength in PvP instances. So they're going to have less health, but we're going to be doing a bit more damage. I mean, like, I'm cool with that and everything, but I really feel like that's going to hinder us as Frost DKs, since we're kind of forced to be consistency, and at the same time, we don't have amazing burst. I mean, we're really all about putting out consistent damage at the moment when they nerfed breath into the ground. Which brings me to my second thing. Guys, we can still use breath in duels. It's still really good. So, I'm actually excited about that. That's what I'm most excited for, is I can use breath in World PvP in duels. And after they nerf that 40%, sorry, I'm going off topic here. I'm just excited for it. Anyways, we'll get back to what I was talking about. Players now have 20% more agility, intellect, and strength in PvP instances. Going to be making us deal more damage in PvP instances, obviously. And with less health going on, it's going to be a bit more bursty. Things are going to die a bit more. And I feel like that's going to make it easier to kill things through healers. Like, we'll be able to burst harder on a target, but healers will be able to cap them off maybe a little bit faster. Things like that will start occurring when the game gets like this. It's going to get a bit more bursty, I feel like, on both the healer front and the DPS front. Alright, next, looking at the next one, this is more like a catch-up mechanic they seem to be adding in for honor requirements for leveling throughout the honor system have been reduced. So from prestiging from 1 to 50 at level 0 has been reduced by 50% to make people prestige faster. Hey, that's good news for my Shaman, but I'll probably have him prestiged out by 7.2, so yeah, I probably won't have to worry about that too much. And it looks like the last one is going to be in Instance PvP, Arenas Battlegrounds in Ashran. So that's why I feel like the 25% less stamina in PvP instances, it says in PvP instances, is going to affect Battlegrounds, things like that. Obviously, that one's not going to be World PvP, but the 40% less damage, as you can see, to other players is not inside instances or stated anything to do with instances. So obviously, that's going to be a change in World and PvP. Now, going back to this bottom part, artifacts now grant minimum stamina increase to all players. This minimum is equivalent to the purchase of 36 points, one of which is the trait which grants 10% stamina. So they are basically just making it inside PvP instances. Artifacts now grant a minimum stamina increase to all players. So it looks like everyone's they're trying to, kind of even out the health pools maybe. But, we'll see how that goes. I mean, that does kind of sound interesting, I guess. I don't know, but I'm really excited for the World PvP duel changes. That would, I don't, meh. Everyone wants a trophy. No, this is World of Warcraft. You gotta win. There's no losing. But anyways, guys, I'm excited for these new duels coming out. I'm excited to see this 40% less damage to other players because it is gonna give classes a lot more of a fighting chance, a lot more of a chance to use general mechanics in PvP instead of just bursting on somebody as hard as you can and hoping you get the correct procs and kill them instantly. I feel like it'll actually turn out a lot better when it comes to duel. But in the same sense, I do feel like that 40% less damage to other players may make some of the healing classes in World PvP a lot stronger than they already are. I mean, that may actually make that consistency healing, such as Rep Paladins and things like that, really powerful in a 1v1 scenario compared to me, who has little survivability but an okay amount of damage. But of course, damage is nerfed by 40%, so I don't feel like Death Strike healing may keep up with that. But I do feel like this is a step in the right direction for dueling, and I am excited for that, and that's why I wanted to make this video for you right now, guys. Now, I am going to talk about a couple other changes as a bonus for Frost DKs, or not Frost DKs, just DKs in general. I think it's more towards Unholy and Blood in 7.2. Doing a quick update on some of the patch notes they got going there. I think they have some PvE changes coming in with Unholy, so let's check this out. Alright, so talking about the Unholy DK changes, what we're looking at right now is going to be some actual PvE buffs. Now, what we're looking at here is Virgin Plague damage over time. Effect has been increased by 67%. Now, this is only in PvE instances. This is not in PvP. And now we got the next one up is Summon Gargoyle damage has been increased by 50%. Those are some pretty hefty buffs. And they're buffing up Dark Arbiter by the Valkyrie Strike damage has been increased by 16%. Now, all those are unchanged in PvP and seem to be staying the same inside PvP instances. Now, something I did find very interesting that is a slight buff for Frost that was kind of really hidden in there. If you remember the last Frost video I made about doing anything as Frost at the moment because they terribly nerfed it, it's just like, ugh. But one of the things I did mention is you had to utilize Dark Sim to definitely maximize what a Frost DK with the lack of CC that we have. And it looks like Dark Sim's cooldown has been reduced to 25 seconds instead of 30 seconds. So we got a 5-second buff on the timer of Dark Sim. So that's for Unholy, Blood, and Frost, I can imagine. And right now it looks like Blood Death Knights is actually getting, let's see what's going on here. Blood Death Knights no longer deal reduced damage in PvP situations. It was reduced by 10%, so you Blood DKs in PvP situations are getting a buff. I know some of you are going to be happy about that. And last is, looks like this is actually, Crypt Fever's damage has been reduced by 15%. That is a nerf to Unholy. A little bit of a nerf there on your dot damage. There are definitely some buffs in the PvP situation going on there. So it looks like we're actually going to be seeing quite a bit of changes coming in PvP situations with 7.2. Change to the duels. A couple changes to Death Knights as of current. Remember, this is PTR, so everything can change, or anything can change, or nothing could change. Or they could release a patch and, we might nerf you, but, it's coming. It's coming. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, and until next time, this was your boy Hazzed.